So I think this has to be probably one of the craziest articles I've ever read on this channel by far. When I was looking through this article and kind of researching who's actually in charge of the lawsuit that's going on right now, my mind was blown away. I didn't even know that this guy even existed, and I cannot believe that he's getting away with half of the stuff that he's getting away with. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm having a grand old time watching Amazon get sued by somebody who is literally stealing the work from Tolkien himself and claiming that Amazon stole his work. It is such a weird love triangle that's going on between these three, but apparently, according to the Fandom Wire news, it says Tolkien Estate is being sued for $250 million as the writer Demetrius Polygon claims that Amazon's The Rings of Power stole his idea. Now, when I saw this article, okay, and I saw this headline, I was like, who the hell is Demetrius Polygon? I had no idea who this person was, and I just couldn't believe, like, I don't know what Amazon could have possibly stolen from Demetrius Polygon, considering that they took the work of Tolkien and made a TV show out of it. And mind you, also completely butchering it in the same sentence. But the thing is, apparently, Demetrius Polygon has a book of his own. And this particular book is literally Tolkien's work completely stolen. This guy, I don't even know, it's stolen to the point where I don't even know how he's pulling it off. I don't know how he hasn't been sued by the Tolkien estate themselves. I don't know how he's capable of doing what he's doing. But let's get into the article and see what it has to say. So it says, Amazon's The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power just got sued for a whopping $250 million in the case of copying another author's work. Although the series did not receive the expected response, well, that's one way of putting it, Jeff Bezos and Amazon now have another drama to add to their table. Based on the original books by J.R.R. Tolkien, The Rings of Power was based on his book The Silmarillion, which was later adapted into a television series. I don't know if I would call that an adaptation. I think they're being a little bit too nice here. I don't even know if you can even say inspired by, aside from a couple names that they pretty much threw in there. It was basically its own thing. It was trying to be Game of Thrones without actually being Game of Thrones. Let me make this a little bigger so you guys can follow along. So it says an author by the name of Demetrius Polygon filed a lawsuit as he claims that he bought the copyright of a 2017 book, The War of the Rings, and that the series was based on his books. Well, after failing a bit miserably for the people, The Rings of Power did get a second season, which was obvious in nature. Although the show wasn't all that loved by the people, there is now one more reason to reconsider the series since it's getting sued. According to Tales of Old, the Silmarillion told the epic tale of how elves gave it their all to retrieve the Silmarils from the first Dark Lord Morgoth and then his protege Sauron. Although the story does seem a bit generalized, it was way fresh when J.R.R. Tolkien wrote it during his days. With The Rings of Power in full motion to carry forward the legacy of Tolkien, an author by the name of Demetrius Polygon seems to have a problem with that. Now, I have a problem with them saying that The Rings of Power is in full motion to carry forward the legacy of Tolkien. Not even close. Not even close, dude. Like, Tolkien has its own legacy that doesn't need The Rings of Power to carry it along. Rings of Power is dragging Tolkien's legacy through the ground and through the mud. I'm just saying that. I'm just putting that out there because that's the absolute truth, and everybody knows it. Rings of Power is such a trash heap in terms of a TV show trying to adapt Tolkien's work. I don't even know. I wouldn't even call it an adaptation. I'm just being real with you. It's not an adaptation at all. It is strictly a fan fiction. So who's Demetrius Polygon? Now, before this article actually goes into it, I looked up Demetrius Polygon. And when you look at the book that he made, it's getting completely destroyed on the reviews because the book is called The Fellowship of the King, The War of the Rings. It is literally stealing Tolkien's work and claiming to be its own. When you look at the synopsis for the story, it says, long before Sauron, the original Rings of Power were forged by the elven Lord Celebrimbor and dwarven smith Narvi in Eregion, near the Misty Mountains. These first magic rings were far more powerful than those that came after and were corrupted by Sauron to be fought for in the War of the Ring. This guy literally took the names of the characters, the names of the locations. I don't know how. How is he getting away with this? Has to be a troll at some point. Seriously, like just in the title alone is a troll, and then the synopsis is literally stealing the story from Tolkien. So again, I think it's pretty wild that even though I love seeing Amazon get sued and Amazon just getting wrecked any chance that I possibly can, I just don't think this is right. Like, this guy is clearly stealing from Tolkien, and is now somehow trying to profit off of it. So let's continue the article and see what it says about Demetrius Polygon. It says, the news was shared on Twitter that stated that Jeff Bezos and Amazon Studios have been sued for $250 million under the case of copyright infringement by author Demetrius Polygon, who claimed that the 7-book series The War of the Rings, which he obtained back in 2017, according to the author, The Rings of Power was based on his book. Although there have been no comments from the higher-ups, this does seem to create a hindrance for the series. The spectacular cast of the series, however, seems to be enjoying shooting the second season. Okay, so it looks like Fandom Wire is a hardcore shill website. That's interesting. They are aware of the negative reception that the first season has received. I'm sure they are aware. How could they not be aware of the reception that the first season received? The amount of reviews that they got for this TV show that they tried to hide, the amount of damage control that they tried to do, especially to protect Galadriel, which is hilarious because you had Morfydd Clark trying to pretend like everybody was attacking only the black actors and actresses in this TV show. It was hilarious to see the white woman lead call to arms, basically, to fight against the crazy racists that are online review bombing the show. It was only the racists that were review bombing the show. Obviously, that's what they all like to say. When the funny thing is, most people had an issue with Morfydd Clark and the way that she portrayed Galadriel, or the way that Galadriel was written. Obviously, not a lot of people liked it. It was pretty terrible, to be honest with you. And yeah, I don't know how she is as an actress in her other TV shows or movies that she might have done, but as Galadriel, she played it terribly. And it was probably because it was written so terrible. So to see Rings of Power getting sued by someone who literally stole Tolkien's work, I think it's pretty damn hilarious. And it's just a little case of irony, because a lot of people feel like Rings of Power are just completely destroying Tolkien's work and Tolkien's history, and they basically threw their money around to try to get the rights to do so. And now you have this guy who probably paid absolutely nothing to do it, and he is completely suing Amazon for it. So I would be really curious to see what the final outcome is going to be from this lawsuit, if it even goes anywhere. I don't even know if it's real, to be honest with you. I tried to look it up further, and it seems like it is legit. I just can't believe that this man even was able to put a book on Amazon and not get sued by the Tolkien estate. I don't even know if they know that this guy is doing this, and I'm sure they know now since he's suing them, but still, it's just crazy stuff. Even when you take a look inside of the book, right? If you go on Amazon and you take a look inside of the book and you see some of what is going on, you see Demetrius Polychron, and then it says copyrighted material, which is hilarious. The Fellowship of the King, Book 1, The War of the Rings by Demetrius Polygon. It is crazy stuff, man. He actually copyrighted this stuff. So how did he do this? How did he get away with this? I don't know. Somebody needs to tell me more about what's going on, because I think that is just crazy stuff. And like I said, as bad as I want to see Amazon pay up some money and lose more money, I just think this guy doesn't deserve to be the one to get the money. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.